Hey guys, um, this stream is way sexier than a stream. There have been some cool streams lately about kicking out squatters that involved bodyguards, and those were fun. But this is way cooler, I think. I'm going to be talking today about auditing your CRM. We set up our CRM when we first started, and we've sort of been just letting the system work. We would, as individuals, we would look at our tasks and we would do our tasks and we'd assign them, and we would just assume sort of that the system was working, but we never really did an audit of the CRM to make sure that none of the leads were getting lost anywhere. And I did our first audit today, and we found some issues. And I wanted to share with you guys what those issues were that we found, so you can look in your own CRM and maybe fix those. And I'm confident that these issues have cost us deals. So I mean, the topics in this video are money in the pocket if we get them fixed. All right. So the first thing we found leads that were in a follow-up status in the CRM, but they didn't actually have a follow-up task assigned to anybody, and so nobody was seeing that lead in their task list, and so the lead would just fall out, and basically fall out of the system and never get followed up on. Well, that's no good, and it shouldn't be possible. We're currently using InvestorFuse under Podio. We haven't migrated to the new InvestorFuse yet. We hear that it's supposed to be impossible under the new system, but it's certainly impossible under the existing system. And so we learned from that to always, after anybody touches the lead, make sure there's a follow-up task for somebody attached to it. There has to be a task, an open task on every lead. All right, second thing we found was that we found some leads in the wrong status. For example, we'd have a need that would be in an offer negotiation status. The offer would be rejected, and it would never come back to like a follow-up status where we would then, try and reach out to them, a month later, see if the other buyer was able to close, and so on. And we should have had that gap filled. We found some leads where we actually ended up getting the contract, but we still had them as active leads in our system, and they never got moved to a sold status. And what that did is that would screw, if we're using our CM for our KPIs, which we should be, that would screw with our KPIs. It's a data collection thing. Our data needs to be accurate. We found we've had a little bit of turnover in terms of who's actually following up on leads in our team. We found some leads that had follow-up tasks that were assigned to members of our team who are no longer in that role. And the leads have just been sitting there. And what that tells us is that whenever we do turnover with anybody, we're going to have a step in that turnover process where we review all of the leads that are assigned to them, and get those assigned to somebody else. Let's see. And also, we found that when we were doing direct mail, we would get a lot of leads that were just auto-generated by CallRail, and a ton of those leads would appear in the system like 10 minutes after the phone call. And by then, we're already long off the call with the person, and most of those would be like, "Stop calling me," or something to that effect. But it never came back into our Podio system, into our CRM, and so that presents an opportunity. I mean, if these are like hangups, if there's still an opportunity to get a lead from there, it was somebody that at least replied to a postcard. So I mean, we could take those and get that list to our outbound cold callers, and at least see if there's any interest out there on these, especially on the hangups. So these are ways that a audit of our CRM is something that we should have been doing regularly. I'm thinking, once a week or so, just have all the team members to get together and discuss, their active leads, and then, somebody has to be responsible for reviewing that and signing off each week that, yeah, the current status of all leads is accurate. And that's got to be part of our processes. Anyway, I wanted to share this with you guys. I hope that it is helpful. I don't think anybody is watching this on a Saturday night, and good for you guys. I hope all of y'all have a great weekend. Thanks.